So, Mark, really bad news. Longtime restaurant in Chinatown, Big Wong, has announced that they're closing within the next 30 days. The good news is that they're still selling T-shirts. $18 can get you a Big Wong T-shirt. Sad to see this go. This is a family-owned place, been around a while.
I mean, you know I love swag, and having Big Wong on my shirt would be pretty amazing. Can you get me one? I'll wear it on the show. I think I need a Big Wong shirt. But I mean, we've talked about this, and even before the show, I've been wanting to go to the Chinatown area of Vegas. You said there's amazing restaurants there. I've never been over there, but I'll take a T-shirt at the minimum.
Now, good news, Fa Kim Long is still in business, so they're still doing their thing. So if you like those names, then you still have something to do. But 30 days, go check it out. All right, Mark. Well, we've talked over the years about how it's been a big move. There's a water shortage and they're making people remove grass. I live in Green Valley here, Mark, and it's turning into Brown Valley because all the grass is going away. And even when they replace it, it's often being replaced with fake turf. And some of the parks, they've done that Bermuda grass, but it's getting ugly. But now that's spreading to the Strip. And New York has removed all the water around the Statue of Liberty and is replacing it with turf. So I guess it's going to turn into a putting green. Yeah. And then Excalibur across the street where the old Merlin show was and the entrance, the water there, also being removed, it seems, for dirt. I don't know what they're finally going to do there. On a side note, when we talked about that show, the Merlin show, a few shows ago, a lot of people told us that the animatronic dragon is still there, although he has no water anymore.
Hey, dragons are in the desert too sometimes, you know. I've watched movies. But no, I actually think the sand kind of looks cool, and especially because it's like raked and stuff, and I don't know if they're going to put something over top of it. I know somebody made a mention of Dune, that's some big Dune thing coming to Vegas, which I love the Dune movies, the book, all that. So if that's what they're going for, I think that'd be really cool. I don't know if this is just kind of like working their way to something else, but I think the sand looks cool. The New York thing looks stupid, but I think the sand at Excalibur looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this cost cutting? Are they being forced to do it? Obviously, the Bellagio fountains are going to stay. We're going to lose the Mirage volcano. But it's always been talked about how they recycle water very heavily on the Strip. So I, thought they would be able to keep this stuff. So I don't know if it's MGM
when you flush your toilet in the room, it ends up in the pond out front.
Yeah, something like that. Actually, in Las Vegas, we do recycle all of our water. So all of our waste gets treated and recycled through Lake Mead. So it actually is a way that we preserve water here. But yeah, I don't, green fake turf around the Statue of Liberty. I think they could have come up with something better. If it wasn't going to be water, I don't know about fake turf, but I think this changes that corner a lot with those two water features removed.
Yeah, definitely. And it's both MGM. So, insert MGM cheap joke here, but I'm sure there's some reason behind it besides just cost cutting.
Yeah, we'll see. Let us know what you guys think. Is this an improvement? I agree that the sand looks better than the fake grass. So maybe they should just put sand over by the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, we should have the Statue of Liberty.
Make it like a beach, All right, so more news about Strat's parking as we finally got details on how it's all working. And TravelScholar.com, he wrote about the experience. And, they started charging for parking after denying it for months. And then the system that they've implemented requires you to scan a QR code, pay on your phone, get with various codes. Apparently it's causing huge backups, so they just didn't want to invest in a ticket system, I suppose. And then on top of that, when you pay on your phone, they're charging a service fee. He paid $6 for his parking plus a 99-cent service fee. Strat, come on, man. I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
Forget about resort fees. This might be the most insane fee ever, that you have to use their system and you can only pay with a credit card, and then they charge you a fee to pay for their parking with a credit card. And anytime you go to a parking structure, somebody always has an issue with the system, and it's pretty straightforward system. Push the button, get the ticket, or swipe your credit card, and they still struggle with it. And you're going to add 4 steps to that with a phone, and not everybody has a smartphone or will be able to get service in a parking garage. It's just horrible. This is the worst run organization in Vegas. I can't say enough bad things about the way that they've rolled this out. It blows my mind. It's crazy. Doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, I think that Golden Entertainment needs to rethink who's making these choices and exactly what they're doing. I mean, they're charging for parking alone isn't something that they're unique on. So you can make the argument, but then making it harder, now charging fees on top of that. I know people on Twitter pointed out, they charge fees for the view seats at the restaurant on top of the Strat. which, other places have done. Giada's charges, for example. Caesars does it in a few of their restaurants. I think that's not good because the prices up there are already so high. But, it just seems like they're nickel and diming. But if you're going to do that, you got to make the customer experience a little bit better. And the parking should pay for the equipment you need to get tickets and just to make it a normal experience. Other places do have QR codes that you can use as a backup or as an alternative. But, you got to do a normal system here. And, yeah, this is a PR nightmare for them. They've gotten so much bad press from this.
Yeah, and to talk about the restaurant things for a minute, I don't mind if you want to have people have a minimum or they pay a fee to reserve the table and that comes off your bill. Like we see at some day clubs and stuff like that. Like, oh, you want this chair, you need to spend at least $50 to sit in the chair. I get that totally. Because, there will be people that will get the window seat and they'll get like 2 drinks and maybe an appetizer and that's it. So I understand that, but to charge people $50 and then, a $200, $300, $400 meal on top of that, it's just crazy. Like, there's ways to ensure that you're getting value, from your customers, making money off your customers and not, taking them to the cleaners. And the parking is just, how much does it cost to buy a machine that you just do tickets? It can't be that expensive. And you're going to make it back in a couple days, charging all these people you didn't used to charge. And you're a locals focused casino somewhat. And you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's just error after error after error. And it blows my mind. Yeah,
and we'll talk a little later in the show how another casino is doing it right for locals in making a bit of a gamble on getting
foreshadowing.
But first, let's talk about Jose Andres, who has several restaurants in Las Vegas, and he's announced that he's going to open 2 new ones. One that will open in the Crystals shop at City Center in 2024, and another that is going to open in the Forum shops at Caesars this year, and that's Zaitinia. I hope I pronounced that right. The first location of that opened in DC in 2002. I actually ate there in 2019. One of my favorite dining experiences. It's like a mix of different Mediterranean-style foods. We were with a big group, and everybody ordered just a bunch of different stuff, so I got to taste most of the menu, and it was so delicious. There was not one thing that was bad. I'm excited for this restaurant to come, adding it to his other restaurants in Vegas like Bizarre Meat and Halio.
You can tell how much Vegas has gone to experience, especially in the dining, because when I read the headline and it said, and a mystery restaurant, I was like, oh, what's this? You don't know what you're going to get when you get there, because they just don't know the name of it. So they're not sure what kind of restaurant it's going to be. But I totally thought it was the theme of it. You're going to go in there and it's going to be, you pick a box and you get a random ingredient added to your food or something, which sounds really cool to me. So maybe they should do that.
I had the same thought when I saw the headline. So I think they wrote it specifically for that. But it's just a restaurant that's not named as of yet. But they announced it. Simon, who owns the mall, plus Jose Andres announced it. This guy does great work all over the world. A lot of humanitarian stuff. But most importantly to his restaurants, the food is so good. I've eaten at a few of them, and I've never had a bad meal. It's not cheap, but when you paying up for, food and it's so delicious, then it feels worth it. And it's good to see his restaurant empire expanding. I know he has a lot of restaurants on the East Coast, also in Orlando. I see quite a few, in Disney Springs and stuff like that. So he really has expanded his empire, and couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Best. Yeah, there you go. Mark hates Disney, but he loves Disney Springs. In case you Vegas people don't know the history of that. We've gone back and forth about that a lot over the years. All right, so MGM has been pursuing their Osaka casino for, I think, since 2014. And with the pandemic, things sort of changed. Now, over the years, Wynn and Las Vegas Sands were both in the running for casinos. They dropped out. MGM has done a lot to sort of get the cash for this. We, obviously selling Mirage, and they've done some other things, selling off a lot of their land. And that's always been with the purpose of expanding overseas, including this Osaka casino. And finally, after all these years, they got approval. And there's only 2 bids for casinos there now, MGM's and another one in Nagasaki, which is from Casino Austria, which I don't know what that company is, although that one has not been approved because there's funding concerns. So this may be the only casino in Japan for a long time. It's going to cost about $8 billion to build it on an island in Osaka Bay. And we've showed concept art before. We'll show it here. It looks really cool. And this is going to be a world-class place. I'm sure it's going to be very popular.
Yeah, funding concerns. They moved all their money to AllNet Arena. So that's why they can't afford to build it over there now. But no, $8.1 billion, right? That's the price tag. That is an astronomical amount of money. And they're putting a big, risk out there. But they assume it's going to be really popular. I think I read $4 billion a year in revenue and stuff. So pretty high level. And we've seen this, for Sands Casino. They only had one casino overseas in an area that was doing a huge portion of their money. So I'm kind of surprised they dropped. That's the most surprising thing about all of this, is so many people dropped out of the bidding, and maybe MGM just went so high that they weren't willing to do it. I don't know, but I was kind of shocked by that.
Yeah, Las Vegas Sands has done really well with Marina Bay Sands, which is just one of 2 casinos in Singapore, the other one being Resorts World. So, yeah, there's definitely a huge market in Japanese culture for gambling. And they point out it's, just I think an hour and a half on this bullet train, about an hour and a half flight from Tokyo. So there's a huge population within reasonable distance of here, and no other casinos. And with this other bid being sort of shaky, it may be a long time before you get another casino. So on top of them, getting this pretty prime location on this island in the middle of Osaka Bay, they're also probably going to be the only casino for a while. And I think they're going to be probably printing money. But to your point, $8.1 billion is a huge investment. MGM is going to own 40% of it, along with a bunch of other partners owning other parts of it. But it will be MGM branded. And, this has been their vision for a long time. So it's good to see them finally achieving that after they've changed so much about their asset structure by selling off the land underneath pretty much all their casinos here in Vegas.
Yeah, and they know how to bring the fake grass and sand with them over there, so they'll make it look nice.
Hopefully they allow them to have real grass. I don't know. All right, and so we foreshadowed this a little bit earlier. Mirage has said that they want to attract locals, or, it's owned by Hard Rock now. And I want to talk about that in a second, Mark. But in this article on the Review Journal, there was a little bit of something that was, kind of buried in the story, saying that they probably aren't going to start construction on Hard Rock until 2025. So that is news to us, because they had always said pretty much early 24 would be when construction started. And they said they probably don't expect it in 24. So that could push the guitar tower, everything, to pretty much the end of the decade.
Volcano lovers rejoice. We got some time to say goodbye. No, I was surprised by that too. You think you'd want to get this rolling, but maybe they're looking to bankroll some money before they go to spending it. So it kind of makes sense, especially with the current state of things and how we've seen everybody else pause certain projects and back off, and the costs of everything being high. Maybe they are seeing that materials and everything in a couple of years will be cheaper. So I think it makes business sense. Still surprising to me, but you already got a working, functioning property, so you don't really need to rush through it. Make the money while you can, and we get to love Mirage a little bit more. So I think that's kind of cool. It's a win-win.
And clearly they want to build their book of gamblers, and they want to expand that with the local offerings, which I'll say in a second. I saw something on Twitter, and I don't remember who shared this, saying that he asked MGM, he was a player at Mirage, and he stopped getting offers completely from MGM when Hard Rock took over. And basically it kind of came out that there's a contract that MGM can't target their old Mirage players until at least, I think, the end of 2023. So if you did play a lot at Mirage and you're not getting any offers from MGM, then that's probably why. They probably have an agreement, which makes sense. If you're buying a business, you don't want the person you just bought it from to be targeting you and trying to take your customers to their other casinos.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense from a business perspective. I'm still a little bit surprised because MGM, owns all these other properties. If you've used your card at any other property, you think they'd be like, well, he's gambled here before, so we're still going to give him offers or her offers. So it's kind of interesting to see, and something I've never heard of before when a casino takes over and everything.
Another MGM Rewards thing, and before we get in, I've been teasing this locals thing for Mirage forever, but is that somebody discovered in the terms on MGM Rewards that members who generate high levels of gaming activity in table games are subject to exclusion from earning MGM Rewards points. And they say basically 25,000 or more per trip. At their discretion, they can just cut you off from earning points, which I guess that means they don't want high rollers or people that are optimizing the table games, high percentage paybacks or what. It just seems weird. I'm guessing this is not enforced unless they want to. So it's sort of a clause that can help them get rid of troubled people or people that are winning too much or something like that. But it does seem strange, doesn't it?
Yeah, I had the same thought initially. Like, this 25,000 seems like a lot, but when you're talking about a whole trip and if you're betting $25 or $50 a hand at blackjack, you can get there reasonably, easily and not lose a ton of money or put a ton of money out there to do it. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing to add in there. The limit is so low compared to what you'd think for high roller.
Yeah, and we know this from our studying loyalty programs that they put all kinds of stuff in the terms to protect themselves in case they want to do something, in case they deem you a bad customer. This is what that seems like. So I wouldn't expect this in practice. Plus, if you're spending that much on a trip, you probably have a host. You're probably getting other comps and other stuff like that. So, yeah, we'll see how that works out, but it is a strange piece of terms. And then finally to Mirage, they announced that they want locals to come. Joe Lupo, who is the president, who has taken over when Hard Rock took over, longtime casino executive here in Nevada, has said that they want locals, and they're going to come with a bunch of different promos like happy hours, different 2-for-1 specials. You'll also get upgraded to their Legends tier if you go sign up for their Unity program with your local ID. And basically, the thought process behind this is Mirage is one of the easiest properties to get to on the Strip because you can just get off on Spring Mountain from I-15, turn right in there. So I think this is actually a smart thing because nobody else on the Strip is really targeting locals. I know other people, I saw Vital Vegas kind of crapping on this, saying this is dumb, this is a bad pursuit. I think it's worth doing because there isn't a huge market for locals on the Strip, but there is a market. You're going to give them free parking with this tier. You're going to give them other specials. We used to see Caesars do this with Rio and other places around town. Like Rio used to have 50% off their buffet, for example, for locals for a long time. And I think it drew a lot of people in there. Rio and Mirage, not exactly the same, but I think this is a great try. And like I said, they want to build up their book of customers. And before they transition, they want to do their best to make Mirage successful. And I wish them well. And I actually think because of their location, this could work.
Yeah, I think it makes a ton of sense to me. And I don't know why people would think it's not worth it. Like, what are you really losing to put promos together? If nobody takes advantage of them, you didn't spend a ton of money, maybe a little bit in marketing, but they basically have to use it for it to cost you. And if they're using it, they're on property and they're likely spending money other places. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Good marketing, something, we we wish Virgin would have done. Virgin's another one that could be wildly popular as a local casino, I think. Resorts World a little bit, maybe, put a little more effort into it. So I think this is smart. And it's something nobody else is doing. And it's kind of a really great idea to give them that status that gives you free parking. If you just show your ID, like, you don't have to say it's free parking, but anybody that pays attention gets it. And it's kind of like a roundabout way to give locals free parking, which, as we know, everybody likes to complain about. So I think it's great. Kudos to them. As much as we've seen Strat do terrible, this is the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, and I think this company understands sort of a local market because their other casinos are often in markets where they're drawing from locals, like in Florida and Tampa and in Hollywood, Florida. And they do really well in marketing people. Their Unity program is often very generous. And, right now they're giving the 3 free hours of parking for locals like MGM did. But they said, people want to go for longer, and why not keep them on property? And, with these discounts on the Love Show, like I said, discounts on spa packages, on dining, happy hours. It's a cool marketing thing, and we'll see if people will go there. It's easy enough, though, if you can just get off I-15 on Spring Mountain, turn right in. You never have to deal with Las Vegas Boulevard, and you're one block on and off the freeway. So, yeah, I think this is really smart, thinking about their position, thinking about their goodwill that they want to earn in the community as they go through that transition into Hard Rock, apparently starting in 2025.
Yeah, and I mean, think about it this way. You love a little staycation. I know you do. And this a big guitars coming in. It's probably going to be a cool pool area. Hard Rock's going to be kind of, sexy. And where else would you want to bank your play a little bit and get an easy access? Or if somebody's coming into town, you can hook them up with a room at the newest property and stuff. Makes a lot of sense. Like, if I lived there, I'd probably start putting my play into that area and see what kind of program they have. And if it's a good reward system, then I'd start leveling up until they build that guitar tower. And I'd be like, yeah, hook me up. Let's go. We talked about their property in Florida. They got great properties around the country. Links into that so you can travel a little bit more. I know MGM, of course, has it as well, but I think the Hard Rock local properties are some of the better ones.
Now, machines in the Strip tend to be tighter, and restrictions on tables. You don't get as good odds. You're not going to see. You're going to see 6-5 blackjack, all that stuff. So that could keep locals away, but I do think that they have the ability to attract some people, and we'll see how they do. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about that, about MGM not wanting high rollers, about the grass around the Statue of Liberty, all of that stuff. Hit us up in the comments.
Get your Wong shirts now.
Yes, don't forget to go get your souvenir Big Wong shirts, and let us know. Take a picture, show it to us on Twitter. And we'll be back in just a couple days with another show. We do 2 shows, Tuesdays, Fridays, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.
Have a good week.